Right then, I think it's time that we had a conversation about our young little superstar, Alejandro Garnacho. There's 5 things that we learned about him. So the first thing that I think stands out for Garnacho is confidence, and it's in buckets. There's self-belief, there's arrogance, there's confidence, and he kind of tiptoes across all 3 at the same time. One of the most difficult things for a youngster when you're making your way into a big team is that sense of belonging. Now, Rooney did an interview with Toffee TV recently where he said he looked up to the Everton players his whole life, and then at 16, 15, when he starts training with them, he's like, these are crap. I'm better than these. And I haven't heard this from Garnacho, but I watch him and think, I think he thinks the same. I think he looks at some of United players and goes, I'm better than you. And that isn't blowing himself up. I think that he just plain and simple believes it, and he might have a right to believe that as well with some players. He is direct and expressive and ruthless, and he has got the sort of personality where he takes chances and he takes risks. He is the sort of player I think Alex Ferguson would have absolutely loved. Just a young lad that just gets after it. Number 2, he is raw, he is unpolished. You can see that there's a lot of development needed in some of his actions, and his finishing needs a little bit of work, and obviously his decision making, which is going to be the longest thing for him to develop anyway. And his final ball is a little bit consistent, but you're supposed to be. You're 18. You're supposed to be going in and exciting us. You're supposed to be going in and us seeing what you can do. You're supposed to be going in and just having a go at it. Your first 20 or so games as an emerging professional are meant to be just figuring it out. Rarely do people steam in and just look world class. You have to develop that level of talent. And he's right in the middle of doing that at the moment. He's had a lot of games this season, and he'll be learning in every single one of them. And then the debriefs that I'll be getting for Ten Hag about this went right, this went wrong, this went right, this went wrong. That's how you shape and mold a player. So the fact that he's raw just means that this is a player that Erik Ten Hag can mould to his ability. He's got a pretty good record at doing that. Number 3, resilience. He's overcome a lot of scrutiny recently for not just 1 or 2 below par performances, but we saw that, he said some things about Cristiano Ronaldo, which made every other Argentinian on the planet go, wait a minute. Even Sergio Aguero going, are you sure? Again, that leads back to both the self-belief that he has, but the resilience that he has. He doesn't care what you think. He is his own man. He might be young, but he is his own man. And that resilience, we saw that in a young Cristiano. We saw that in a young David Beckham. And that's what makes me think this kid is destined for the top. He overcomes stuff that you think it probably really affect a lesser player and a lesser personality. But he appears to be bulletproof. And that comes down a lot, again, to the self-belief. He's had a couple of knocks with both discipline, as we saw in pre-season, overcame it. Young players are inherently inconsistent, so you have to be patient with them. But there seems to be this bounce-back ability with him where you just think he's going to keep pushing and he's going to keep developing, and we're probably going to see a world-class or near world-class talent at some point. Number 4, potential. At 18, he's got 3 goals and 5 assists in 25 games for the club, and he's electrified fans with some of his performances. When it comes to left wingers in the Premier League, he's in pretty good company. When you think how much Jack Grealish went for in the Manchester City team that he's playing in, his numbers are, similar to Garnacho's, apart from the minutes. And he's only just brushing the surface. We're not seeing the full finished article by a long, long way here. He has the ability to become a real asset for both United and Argentina and save us probably upwards of 100 million at some point in the near future. For the impact that he's made, he's already proven his worth to the side. The ceiling that he has got could take that a long, 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 long way. His play style, just how sheer direct he is, he's exhilarating to watch. Is one of the most valued things in football at the moment. Someone who is so direct and so desperate to score or create every single time they get on the ball. I think we got a gem on our hands, lads. And then finally, physical development. He's built like a child because he's only just not a child. But you're not going to physically mature till you're 23, 24 years of age. So he's got to grow into that body yet. And for him to thrive in the Premier League, he'll need to do that. When he gets stronger, he's going to stop being second best. We saw Ayling get an arm out and just stop him. Ayling can't do that to the likes of Adama Traore or Marcus Rashford. He did it to Garnacho because Garnacho's still built like a boy. You give him a few years in the gym, you get him liking the deadlifts, and Ayling's not doing that to him again. He's going to knock that arm out of the way, push him over and get round him and get on that ball. And it's having that sort of core strength right the way through where you don't get shoved off the ball while dribbling, where you ride that challenge just a little bit better. Once he gets stronger, you might see him take his game to a frightening new level. He seems like he's got more in his locker coming out of the gate than Marcus did. The level Marcus is playing at right now, if the trajectory is the same, that's ridiculous. We've seen it with many youngsters before him. It's one thing having the potential, it's one thing having the opportunities, but a lot of times potential doesn't get realised. I hope that Garnacho's something different. There's been a bit of an X factor about him since he burst onto the scene. Very excited about where this one could go. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.